What's going on? What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are well. What's good, people in the house? What's going on? What's good, Eric? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. What's going on, peeps? Salute, Brendan. What's going on? What's going on, peeps? I hope you guys are well. Smash the like button while you're here. What is good? What is good, peeps? What is good? What is good? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are keeping safe. I hope everything's good from your end. I hope everything is good. What's good, peeps? What's good? Uh, Walaikum assalam, Stephen. I hope you're good, brother. I hope you're good. What's good, peeps? So, um, let's look at these questions. Salute. Thought the Charlo fight was in the bag. Yeah, I think the Charlo fight was. I think that what's gonna happen next. Um, Looking forward to see what Team Canelo decided to do. I check out one of these fights. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be Charlo. I think that fight makes practical sense, to be honest with you. What's going on, Salman, in the house? What's good? What's good, Salman? I hope you're good. Salman, there's some big talk of Canelo Alvarez's next fight. They're talking about Jamal Charlo or Dimitri Bivol next. What do you make of it? PBC offering a one fight deal,
Yep.
um, to fight Jamal Charlo next, and Eddie Hearn has offered Canelo a two-fight deal to fight Bivol and then Golovkin. What do you make of it?
I think he should. I think he should fight. I think personally he should take Eddie Hearn's offer. Um, he's obviously he's in a what fight? What with the Jamal Charlo fight? What weight would the fight happen? Would it be at
168,
160 or
most likely.
168? Yeah, he's cleaned out the 168 division. So to be honest, is that a really fight I would want to see? No, I'd rather him move up to 175 and fight Bivol because it's just he hasn't ever been at that weight, so we want to obviously see him
He
at
has
that
been
weight.
at that weight. For Kovalev at that weight.
No, what I mean is, he's not fought a fresh champion at that weight. Obviously Kovalev was obviously on the way out, um, and then obviously with the Golovkin situation, that's obviously I don't think Golovkin's obviously what he was. Um, I wouldn't want to see the third fight against Golovkin. I think Canelo maybe even would. I think Canelo would stop him the third time. I think obviously Golovkin's a lot older now, but with the Bivol one, obviously it's intriguing because obviously Bivol's obviously young and he's a champion. So will size play a factor? Will youth play a factor? It's obviously more questionable. But with the Charlo one, yeah, it's a big fight. Don't get me wrong, but it's one that I believe Canelo would win. To be honest, I think he could have a few problems, but I think his skill set, his ability, I think he's just an all-round better fighter, in my opinion, than Charlo. He's probably an all-round better fighter than Bivol as well, but it's the fact that Bivol's a lot bigger and he's younger as well. He's not a washed-up fighter, so it'll be interesting.
So like which fight would you rather see then? The Bivol one.
I'd rather see the Bivol one personally. Um, I just think the thing is with Canelo, I think he has to move up weight to get beat. I think at 160, 168, he's the king. He's a king at those weights. I don't really want to see him at those weights because we seen what he did to like a big super middleweight in Callum Smith. He was bullying him around the ring. So it goes to show that he's the king of those weights, 160, 168. I don't think there's
Mm.
anyone at 160 or 168 that can really, in my opinion, that is going to beat him, to be honest.
What about Benavidez?
I don't think, I think he could cause a few problems, but he's not going to beat Canelo in a 12-round fight. He's just not better than Canelo.
Mm.
He's not
Mm.
better than him, so I just can't see him winning a 12-round fight against Canelo. Canelo's very smart. He's just he's done it so many times now. He's done it so many times. He's fought so many good fighters. You know, even if they were past their best, you still pick up that ring experience. And you know, his resume is obviously second to none. He's fought so many good guys, so I can't see those guys beating him really. I just think he has too much experience, too much skill level. I just think he beats all those guys, honestly.
Right. Makai, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like what Salman's saying. If we want to see Canelo in the hardest fights, it would be the Matchroom deal, of course, with Bivol and Golovkin. You know, the Charlo fight. Don't get me wrong, it's a big fight. The build up will be great and everything. It interests a lot more fans than it would with the Bivol fight. But then again, I feel Charlo he's a bit overrated. And I think Canelo would probably get him out there. But I think Bivol would actually beat Canelo. So that's the fight I would want to see. I want to see Canelo in the toughest fights, and that would of course be the Bivol one. But I feel Canelo would get more credit if he fought Charlo than if he fought Bivol, just because Bivol isn't really known.
So, what would you put your house on it that Bivol beats Canelo?
I won't put my house on it. I ain't that confident.
So what would you say, 50-50 or?
I guess you can call it a 50-50 fight, but I just think Bivol, it's not even with how big he is. I mean, Canelo's fought bigger guys. It's just Bivol's boxing skills, his brain, his feet. He knows how to use his range well, everything. I just feel he'll win because of that. Yeah. But I'm not like extremely confident Bivol's going to win. But if I was a better man, I would bet on Bivol. I rate Bivol quite highly. Not a lot of people do though, but I do.
Salman. So Makai thinks Bivol actually beats Canelo. There's a lot of people that think Beterbiev also beats Canelo. Do you think so? You weren't impressed with Beterbiev?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think from what I've seen of Beterbiev against Marcus Brown, I wasn't overly impressed. It wasn't anything that I thought Canelo would. He's going to struggle. Like if he fights Beterbiev, he's going to be outgunned here. Beterbiev isn't going to be able to walk Canelo down like that unless he wants to take some serious punishment, because Canelo's what you call a sharpshooter. You make a mistake and he'll make you pay. He's not a fighter where you can walk down, throwing caution to the wind. You can't fight like that against Canelo. You've got to be very, very smart. And you've got to be very elusive in there against Canelo. You can't be taking too much punishment, And and the thing is with Canelo, the advantage he has a very, very good chin. So moving up in weight, he's got the chin. So I think he can take these guys' shots as well. But personally, in my opinion, I would favor Canelo over both Bivol and Beterbiev.
With Canelo at light heavyweight, he just didn't look the same. He just looked slow. He just didn't look as good as he does at 168. Let's just say, like, I just feel
he looked slow.
Kovalev, I don't personally think that was the best Canelo, to be honest. I think he looked very lethargic, very lackadaisical in that fight. Yeah, he didn't look that great in the Kovalev fight. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's the best Canelo.
But maybe that's how he looks when he goes up.
It's not Kovalev 6 rounds, 5-6 rounds.
I mean, that Canelo, you know, obviously that was like back in 2019. He's gone a lot better now, but I still think, you know, he's still going to be pretty slow at the weight. I mean, it's just the weight class. It's just that's not his weight class. You know, he was obviously, you know, he wanted to get a belt there, but that's not his weight class. He shouldn't have actually went up there in the first
How I
place.
look
Because
at
now,
it
you know,
I look at it like this, right? Are they gonna out hustle Canelo, right? Or are they gonna outbox Canelo? Because those are the two ways, in my opinion, they can win. Is Bivol or Beterbiev a better boxer than Canelo?
I think
I
I
don't
think
think so.
I think Bivol
But
was very
Bivol,
capable about boxing Canelo. Yeah, Bivol was very out.
Bivol, possibly.
I think
So
Bivol
what
would
you guys
outbox
think that
Canelo.
you guys think that
Bivol,
Bivol could
I
outbox
don't think,
Canelo?
I have Canelo winning against Bivol, so I don't think so. I just think Canelo's too strong.
I don't
So
even think
I
Scott
don't
to do
think so,
anything
to be
without
honest.
being too strong.
yeah,
I think Canelo's boxing ability. I think Canelo's boxing ability is underrated in terms of his skill level. I think he's very skillful. The thing is, what people tend to do is they always revert back to the Mayweather fight, but you got to realize that guy's, you can't look at it like that. You've got to look at what Canelo's been doing to these guys that he's been fighting. He's been making them, look like average fighters, and some of the guys he's been fighting aren't, they're good fighters. Like, look like Caleb Plant. He was a decent fighter. Canelo was beating him easily. He wasn't
Salman,
no trouble.
you said,
Callum Smith.
let me just remind the viewers, you said Billy Joe would beat Canelo, remember?
Yeah, I did. I genuinely did. I thought that style, the boxing style, the feet work. I genuinely thought. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that Billy Joe would beat Canelo. Honestly, that's hand on heart. But obviously, he didn't. He didn't.
with
And neither
the
did any of the other
Canelo,
guys. Smith,
yeah,
Callum Smith, Caleb Plant. None of them came close to beat him. The only guy that came close to beat him is Golovkin. That's it.
but with Bivol though, like you know, Bivol, he's got you know he's obviously got a bigger reach than Canelo. He knows how to use his range very well.
Yeah.
He's very good in his feet. He's very fast in his feet. He's good counter puncher and everything. He
Yeah,
just
but
knows what he's doing in the ring.
wasn't
You know,
wasn't
he's
Callum Smith all those things as well?
no Callum Smith. I never really thought of him as a a really good boxer. He never was a guy who stays behind his jab and everything. He uses his feet. He shells up as well. You know, people don't do that. He's a lot.
The
Callum
thing is,
Smith's a
with
lot more of
only
a
like
different to.
the thing is with these sort of fights, we'd only really know once they really step in the ring how they're going to play out. Because
Oh
you've got
yeah,
to realize there could be there are fighters out there that are actually better than what they look like when they step in there with someone good. Like we never know. Bivol could step in there with Canelo and he might end up outboxing him. We don't know. We can only go on what we've seen so far, really, of Bivol and what we've seen on Canelo. But I'm not saying that Bivol might be able to outbox Canelo. You just don't know. You just don't know.
I mean, yeah, I can see what you mean. I mean, Bivol, he hasn't fought a guy, who's got killer body shots, who's got a lot of power. I mean, he fought Joe Smith, but he's not really a body puncher like Canelo. He doesn't overwhelm, Canelo, he overwhelms fighters as well, just like his presence and everything, just how he fights. Bivol hasn't seen anything like that, but obviously then Canelo, I feel he hasn't seen a boxer like Bivol. I'm not saying he's obviously going to be the best boxer he's faced, but it's just the style and everything, if you know what I mean. Yeah. No, they've never seen any of those styles, so I can see what you mean there,
yeah. I just seen this comment here. BJS was outboxing Canelo until he got caught. I don't agree with that. I think Canelo was winning the fight either way, personally. I was actually supporting Billy. I was supporting Billy Joe, to be honest. I wanted him to get the win, but yeah, Canelo was outboxing Billy Joe. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think I did by one round.
Billy Joe, even though Billy Joe got caught and obviously half of his face broke. He wasn't winning that fight on points either. To be honest, in my opinion, a guy that someone that I thought was beating him on points until he got knocked out was Amir Khan. I think Khan was actually, in my opinion, although the judges had him down somehow. I think until he got caught, he was the one that was actually outboxing Canelo. Billy Joe, by no stretch, was outboxing Canelo, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Salman, yeah, I was going to ask you, BJS was outboxing Canelo. What did you make of that?
No, he wasn't outboxing Canelo. That's nonsense. You know, he was getting backed up. He was getting backed up, and Canelo was pummeling the body. And he wasn't winning the rounds. There's no way he was winning those rounds. If anything, I think I scored it maybe. I think it was 6-2 or something. I had it
Oh, really?
6-2. Yeah, so it's not really. Yeah, he won a couple of rounds, but
I had the fight
he
quite
wasn't
close.
outboxing Canelo. He wasn't winning
I had
the
the fight
fight.
pretty close, yeah.
Sorry.
I had the fight pretty close. I think I had Canelo up just by 1 round. I think it must have been, yeah. So it was
No,
quite
I
close
don't
for
think
me.
Billy Joe. I personally, in my opinion, I thought, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought Billy Joe would be 10 times better than he was against Canelo. I didn't rate that performance against Canelo one bit. I think that was a very poor. I was expecting him to really show his dominance, but he didn't. I don't think he was winning the fight. I don't think he was winning the fight at all.
With Saunders, he has a really good style to beat someone like Canelo. It's just
No,
just
genuinely,
doesn't have any
I
power,
genuinely
man.
thought he'd be able to do it. I thought he'd be able to do it, but I don't know what he did. He wasn't winning the fight. If that's what the question is, he was not winning the fight.
Guys, who's got their radio on?
I'm trying to figure out. It's always something, man. It's always some noise, somebody working or somebody shopping or something, man. Come on, man.
Is it? Yeah, I think it was Miguel.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah, so let's get Steven's take, Salman, on it. Steven, it looks like Canelo Alvarez will be looking to look. His next fight will either be Jamal Charlo or Dimitri Bivol. I hope we don't get thrown in a Makabu fight. Makabu's fighting this weekend as well. What do you think is going to happen? You heard Salman and Makai, going back and forth. What do you think?
Well, I didn't hear him going back and forth. I was trying to connect, man, and my was real bad, so I didn't hear anything of what they were saying.
Okay, fair enough. What's your take on it anyway? What's your take on this situation?
My take on it is that, man, don't get me wrong, man. Jamal Charlo, Canelo Alvarez, that's always a good, spectacular fight. But I think, man, that's a gimme for Canelo. I know I'm gonna sound repetitive and redundant, but I think Canelo wins that fight, man. I think he wins it, without contest. I don't think it's as contestable as what everybody says. But I think the fight I've been wanting to see, and you know this yourself, Imran. I've been saying this for eons. The fight I really want to see is Canelo and Demetri. You know what I'm saying? Because Duvo, he gonna put them things on Canelo, man. He gonna put them paws on him, and I know.
Sorry, who was that? Who's gonna do what? Sorry.
I said okay. Let me say it in English. Sorry about that. I'm saying that I think Dimitri Bivol.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Demetrius Andrade.
Nah, Dimitri.
We get destroyed.
Dimitri Bivol put the things on Canelo. He gonna put them paws on Canelo. I think. You see, man. I don't think people give Dimitri. I don't think people give him his props, man. And it's frustrating, man, because that dude's a gangster to me, man. I like Dimitri, and I think his skill level is far more superior than what people give him credit for. I just think, man, people be sleeping on Dimitri for some reason. Which
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, before you joined, me and Simon was talking. Obviously, I said I think Bivol would beat Canelo as well. I think he'd outbox him. just like it's not even like because he's bigger. It's just the guy's got such good boxing skills.
Salman, I want to ask you a question. Why do you like? Obviously, I don't agree. I just think Canelo. We've seen him with that kind of style so many times now. You know, a guy that's not a huge puncher, a guy that's a good boxer, but Canelo finds a way to like break him down.
Imran,
Yeah.
I think Bivol hits quite hard. He just doesn't. He just doesn't
I
change
don't
gear
know
or anything. But
though.
he's got power.
When we saw him against Richards, he looked like I don't know. I'm not that impressed with Bivol. Like, I don't know.
The layoff and everything, it happens. But I mean, look what we did to Joe Smith. He's got a belt right now.
But think about it, Makai. What would Canelo do to Joe Smith?
I don't know. I think Canelo would beat him, but I mean, Joe Smith, he ain't no mug. I mean, he's got a belt, and obviously Bivol fought him
Yeah,
a couple of years ago now,
like,
and he outboxed him for whole 12 rounds.
Anthony Yard would beat Joe Smith, in my opinion.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Yard would knock him out personally.
No, I think. Do you know what? I actually think it would be. It could probably be the other way around. To be honest,
Really,
Joe Smith seems a little bit too one-dimensional. Or if not one-dimensional, he doesn't have like enough dimensions.
Sorry, who did Joe Smith just fight?
he fought Garrod. He was supposed to fight Callum Johnson, Salman, but it got cancelled. Remember, Johnson got COVID or something.
Personally, I think
Johnson would have beat him. Johnson would have beaten.
I think Johnson could have chinned him.
Yeah, I think so. I don't rate Joe Smith. Like, he's a tough guy. He's a warrior. But he
looked very poor against Garrett. The last guy he fought, Joe Smith, looked very poor. Very
man. It was. Stephen, what did you think of Joe Smith?
Well, this is what I think about it, man. I think Joe Smith is. I think he's a tough guy. And I think he can bring the fight to you. I think he has a lot of heart. But
I'll be honest, right? From what I've seen from the highlights of the Joe Smith versus the Garrett guy, I think Buatsi and Yard both beat him, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, Buatsi, man. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing, man. A lot of people don't give Buatsi his credit, but Buatsi
he's not fought nobody yet.
Right.
He was supposed to be fighting that Vlasov.
Who wins, Stephen? Who wins, Yard or Buatsi?
I got Yard.
I got Yard. Okay.
What do you got, Salman?
The thing is, there's not like a mutual fight that they both had. It's obviously a tough one, but I think Buatsi has a better boxing skills, to be honest. I think Buatsi has a better boxing skills.
Well, here's what I think. I think
he's very tough as well.
Hey, this is what I think, man. I think Buatsi is more like Earl Spence and Anthony Yard. I mean, Anthony Yard is more like say Boots Ennis. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment?
No way.
I mean, I see where you're getting at. I see where you're getting at. At least skill wise, I see where you're getting.
Not even close, man. Boots Ennis is on a different level.
Boots Ennis is only looking really good because he's like fighting guys who are like so much smaller than him. Like, I mean, the guy's a weight below.
No, but Boots Ennis has got the skill. You can see from the eye test that he's got. Anthony Yard.
He's got some skill. He's fast. But I mean,
Ennis is more skilled than Spence. Like he has way more bag tricks. And I think that's the comparison. Like that's the comparison he's going for because when you compare Anthony Yard and Joshua Buatsi's skill set, it just seems like Yard just has more bag. Like he has more tricks up his sleeve. Like if you just analyze the skill set.
I think Virgil Ortiz would beat Boots Ennis.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Virgil
Ortiz.
Do you reckon?
That guy's a monster, mate.
Yeah, but Virgil Ortiz is fighting Mickinson next, isn't he? Mickinson.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's fighting Mickinson. Yeah.
Do you not think he comes through that, or?
Oh, he's gonna absolutely destroy Mickinson. I mean, Mickinson's gonna look good for one round, just for one round, and then I mean, it's going to be a very early night. Ortiz is going to badly
Who
hurt
do you
him.
think would win, Virgil Ortiz or Conor Benn?
Oh, Ortiz. Conor Benn is overrated.
Yeah, Virgil Ortiz,
Virgil
man.
Ortiz would splatter him.
Virgil, he gonna kind of hurt you. He gonna kind of put you make you go night. That's what that's the only thing he coming to do.
I mean, look at what he's done to
you think Conor Benn could hurt Virgil Ortiz?
If he lands something, I believe he could. I mean, he showed. I mean, he showed like at least a few more wrinkles in his game whenever he knocked out Chris Algieri. I won't just say, he trashed or nothing. He did look like he improved compared to that fight before, where he was just trying to push the knockout. I don't even remember the dude he fought before he fought Algieri.
I want to see. The thing is, I want to see these sort of fighters fight one another. Fresh fighter. I don't want to see these fighters fighting, leftovers or fighters they're supposed to be. I want to see these 50-50 fights. I would love to see Conor Benn versus Virgil Ortiz. I would love.
That isn't really a 50-50 fight, though, is it?
I mean, there's a lot about both of them that
I would love to see it, though. I would love to see it because they're both tough as nails. They both can punch, right? And they're both on the way up.
Actually, is Conor Benn right? Conor Benn, he is tough. He is tough. But is he like, is he like Virgil Ortiz tough? I mean, because we saw it in the Kavaliauskas fight. He hits that Kavaliauskas, he hits very hard, and Ortiz seemed to.
Yeah, but the thing is, for example, Conor Benn needs to fight the likes of Kavaliauskas next. That's what he's got to do.
Yeah. Actually,
the thing is, if he just say, for example, he blows away Kavaliauskas in 3-4 rounds, then he has a say. Then all right, I want to fight Ortiz. At the minute, he doesn't really have a say because he's not beaten someone of that sort of. He's beaten Algieri and these sort of fighters, but it's not anything to move the needle at the minute. If I'm going to be honest, he needs to beat someone, someone of note, someone that's, a top 15, 20 welterweight, for, people to think, all right, yeah, well, I'm going to fight this guy.
Is that Little Penny?
Little Penny's in the house. I want to get Little Penny's opinion on Canelo, Charlo, and Bivol. Little Penny.
How are you? Hey, I just want to welcome Salman here because I've never seen him on the live chat. So hi Salman, how are you, dude?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, man?
Yeah, good, man. Hey, Salman, just piggybacking on what Salman's saying about 50-50 fights, I just want to congratulate Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor for making that April 30 fight. It's now official. It's at the
good
Madison
one.
Square Garden.
That's on the same day that's on the same day as Valdez versus Stevenson.
It's gonna be a good night.
I know exactly what fight I watch. Yeah, but I mean, it's the two main events are going to be on at the same time. I mean, that it always happens, so I know what fight I'm watching.
Serrano and Katie Taylor is not a 50-50 fight anymore, unfortunately.
You don't think so? Well,
I think Taylor's washed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, she sounds punch drunk now and everything, so like
she's washed, man.
Yeah, she sounds very
batter her, in my opinion.
She's had too many wars.
Serrano's gonna batter her. Watch.
But the thing is, Serrano is going up in weight, and 135, it might be a little.
He is Little Penny, but have you seen Katie Taylor's last couple of fights?
Yeah, but the thing is, with Katie Taylor, whenever she fights someone who's a really good fighter like Person and McCaskill and that girl who she fought at the Olympics, what was her name? Jonas. She always finds ways to win, but when she fights someone who's not like in her level, sometimes she like fights down to that level because she's not. Whereas now that she knows this is a super fight, it's probably the best fight in females boxing since Layla Ali fought. She'll get up for this fight. I can't wait for this fight. I'm actually looking forward for that fight more than the Valdez fight.
No way.
Nah, Valdez v Stevenson.
Even though I think that's going to be quite an easy fight for Stevenson, I'm still more excited for the fight.
Is it?
I think that's quite an easy fight.
Is that the Canelo guy? Canelo. All right. So that he's a world champion, isn't he?
Yeah. Also, Stevenson.
Valdez is a world champion, and Stevenson.
Also, Mackay.
Number one, number two.
Mackay Stevenson sometimes stinks out the joy.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it very boring. He's gonna make the fight quite boring.
Wild.
Hey,
I think Stevenson will beat Valdez. I think what Valdez is too wild.
Stevenson gonna beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, he gonna put a clinic on him.
I mean, people think Stevenson's gonna stop Valdez. I don't think he's gonna stop him.
Stevenson's big, man. Stevenson's big as well. Valdez is a smaller guy coming up.
Stevenson's better. He's got better boxing skills than that guy.
Yeah, he's not like. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a much.
Not really a fight. I think it's gonna batter him.
I mean, look at what we saw in the Valdez's last fight. He was getting outboxed by Gonzalez. I mean, even though Gonzalez, he had way longer reach and everything. I think he was generally bigger, but
they were saying Stevenson versus Lomachenko. I don't think Stevenson can win that fight personally.
Hey, no, that's
Loma would. Stevenson can beat Lomachenko.
Why?
Yeah, too early.
Why? Because I don't think the thing is he doesn't have. I don't think he has enough pop to keep him off, and I just think Lomachenko will just box rings around him. I think he'll just keep. He'll keep he'll just turn him all night long.
He'll be too experienced for Stevenson. He'll probably stop him late as well.
The thing is, with Lomachenko, you've got to have something to keep him off. You've got to have something to keep him wary, like how Lopez did. What's going to happen? I don't think Stevenson or I think personally Lomachenko would beat Haney and Stevenson. To be honest,
I think that's all happen. Yeah. I think Shakur Stevenson. I think he's the most skilled out of that bunch, and I think he's gonna put a boxing clinic. I mean, and the thing about him is that he's ferocious. His name should be Ferocious Shakur because that dude is a savage. He's a monster. He's an absolute killer. And I think that
absolute killer at all. I don't know why you say that.
Man, I don't.
A killer is someone that puts people to sleep, man. Hey, man. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't matter if you. It doesn't matter if it's like cumulative punches or like one punch knockouts. But like Steven Death, you cannot like try to debate against Stevenson having like some pretty good power on him.
Yeah, man. That dude.
Hey Steven, is that fight official now? The Valdez Stevenson, is that actually official?
That was official ages ago.
I mean, with Stevenson and Valdez, yes, I think it's fairly obvious that fight. But I don't know how people can pick Stevenson to beat Loma. I have no idea how people can pick Stevenson to beat Loma.
Well, let's see what he does to Valdez because Valdez said chill on the pockets. Remember that?
But yeah, the reason why Valdez, knocked out Bichette like that is because Bichette was running at him. Like, I mean, he was actually running into his punches. Stevenson's not going to do that. He's not going to land any of those kind of punches to Stevenson.
Valdez was winning the whole fight. Remember that? He was winning that fight.
He dominates the style, but Bichette's style is a come forward style. I mean, Stevenson's nothing like that, so I think Stevenson's gonna outbox him. It's gonna be pretty easy, to be honest. He's a lot more bigger than Valdez as well. Like he'll just know exactly what he's doing. I don't think Valdez will get to him, get his shots off or anything. That's why I see it.
Lil Penny, Campos is in the house. Campos, I wanted to get your opinion on Canelo and Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Bivol. What do you think happens in that situation?
I would rather see Canelo fight Bivol instead of Charlo.
You said it before. You said it before that you think it's a cherry pick if he fights Charlo.
Well, Charlo,
it's kind of harsh.
Hold on.
Campos, explain to Brendan why you think it's a cherry pick. Campos?
Yo.
Campos.
I'll just say this regarding that.
Go on, Brendan.
Out of Triple G, Dimitri Bivol and Charlo, in my opinion, the Charlo fight, because I've already said this in the comments, but it would be a very, very entertaining tune-up.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say like a cherry pick.
I don't mind that fight, that Charlo Canelo fight. I think it'll be an exciting fight. Plus, Charlo's got a name and he has a mouth as well. Man, the build up to that fight would be huge.
Entertaining tune-up.
I want to ask Steven. Steven, I was speaking to Christian, right? And
Mhm.
Christian said that Jamal Charlo and Canelo is a 50-50 fight. Then I heard Boots Ennis. He also said it's a 50-50 fight. You said that Canelo Alvarez will smoke Charlo. It's not really that competitive. What do they see that you don't see?
Well, I think what they seeing is that they saying that Jamal Charlo is I think they see that he has a lot of power, but what they don't see about Canelo is that Canelo is incredibly, and I said this before, guys. I said this before. Canelo is incredibly durable, and he's almost like he's impervious to damage. So it's going to take I don't see a guy at 168 having enough power to hurt Canelo other than Benavidez. I think Benavidez beats Canelo, but nobody else in that weight class could beat Canelo. Nobody. I think that Canelo is, and on top of that, Canelo has a wealth of knowledge. He has a wealth of experience. So he's always going to have the upper hand. He's always going to be one step ahead of the best fighters at 168, excluding Benavidez. I think Benavidez is just too young, too powerful, too hungry. His punch.
I don't think Benavidez had the boxing brain like to beat somebody like Canelo. Like he does have good attributes.
All these
but
guys are just like they're just overinflated. Everyone has an overinflated opinion about all these guys. Caleb Plant, Benavidez, and then obviously Canelo gets in there and just beats them all easily. It's like nah, man. Like even Caleb Plant, the way he goes on like he's like such a good fighter and he's beaten so many good fighters. And like he was like, oh, to Jamal Charlo, you're easy work. I just don't agree with that. You've got to be at a certain level to act a certain way. He's not achieved enough.
Well, Canelo's been favorite in all those fights, man. He really ain't had a fight thus far that you could say is really like let's just hypothetically speak and let's just hypothetically put into the atmosphere this potential fight between him and Jamal. Is anybody giving Jamal a real serious chance on this chat? Nobody.
Steven, here's the thing. Nobody really gives him a chance. Benavidez a chance against him, really. Like,
true, man.
I'm being honest. I think it'd be a massive favorite going into that fight as well. Huge favorite.
I think Benavidez would be a nightmare for Charlo though. If Montiel, because it seems like Benavidez is like a Super Saiyan version of Montiel. Like you look even down to the looks, like in their build, but like I said, like none of them have the experience to go up against somebody like Canelo. And it's
I think the reason why I think, man, I honestly think, and y'all can call me crazy on this, but I honestly think Benavidez is the best at 168. I honestly believe that.
I agree.
David Morrell Jr. is pretty cold.
You think he's better than Canelo?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's gonna be too much.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, I thought he meant like the best 168 other than Canelo. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know if he's better than Canelo though. Like, I do think he's a Benavidez. I think very highly of Benavidez. Also, David Morrell is good too, but he's a little green. Man. I don't think he's proven himself yet.
Man, you talking about some pop? You talking about some pop? David Morrell Jr. Boy, that dude
nice.
Pop.
That dude's not. It ain't even the power that gets me. I'm talking about it. Like his boxing ability is almost alien. Like I was watching it the other day.
I forgot about him. I forgot about David Morrell Jr. I forgot about him. That dude is.
Canelo would lay that guy out. I'm sorry. He would lay that guy out. I mean, Morrell.
It's too early. It's too early.
It's too early. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm waiting. And that's a good thing about boxing is because, you know what I'm saying, I have the luxury of watching it from a spectator's point of view, and I can put all my thought, I can size each fighter up, and I can say that David Morrell got the goods. David Benavidez got the goods.
He's a good fighter, yeah. Morrell's a good fighter.
And they listen, size the size, the height, the width, the construction of a fighter has a lot to do with it. Just that's just the way physics works. Okay, now David Morrell Jr. is considerably taller than Canelo, and he got that much pop. It's gonna be a nightmare for him. It's gonna be a whole complete nightmare for Canelo. I'm telling you. Now, you can trust me. You want to? You can say, "Oh man, you just talking, dude. You just on here talking." But I'm telling you, that boy, I forgot about him.
I
Who
think
who, who brought
Morrell
him?
Jr. is better than Benavidez. He just, like we've established, he just more green. But if we want to talk
I,
about strictly skill sets and who keeps himself from getting really hit by their opponents,
you see,
uh, I have
here's the beautiful thing about the beautiful thing about David. David Benavidez is Man, that dude is a savage. You want to talk about savage? His punch rate is out of this world, and he ain't afraid of mixing it up with you. Don't go toe to toe with him because he gonna box your head off. I mean, he gonna punch your head off, and I just think that I think and I agree with Lil Penny. I'm gonna say that the best, if you really had to put a label on the best at 168 right now, it'd be the guy with the belts. And the guy with the belts is Canelo, so Alvarez. But I think David Benavidez and David Morrell Jr., I think they on the come up.
Yeah, Steve. You know what? I don't know why there's a lot of hate on David Benavidez. I think he's a live dog against Canelo because he's got fast hands. He's got heart. He's got the size. He's got the length. Like he might
just
not
the
have
defense, man. It's just the defense. I'm watching Kyron Davis fighting Benavidez right now, and he has some defensive gaps, like for the type of punches that Canelo throws, especially with that high guard he likes to have.
Yeah. I agree.
All in the body.
Yeah, David
inside the
Benavidez
head.
doesn't strike me as a Brandon Rios or Margarita who doesn't have any defense whatsoever. I think he's got some defense, but he's not Pernell Whitaker, obviously. But
Not even close. Like he getting hit. Watching him get hit. And,
yeah, but I'm saying he's a live dog though. He's not like a pushover.
for sure. Like in 168, the top two dudes in my opinion right now are like they have to be David Benavidez logically and David Morrell Jr. like just off the eye test. But like that's the thing with Canelo right now. Like he's so good. Like he has a vast pool of like top fighters to fight. So yeah, it's just looking good right now to be a boxing fan or Canelo fan. He just got many options. But
what's going on with Demetrius Andrade? What's going on with Andrade, man? Andrade is moving up to 168 to become Canelo's mandatory. Is he dreaming about a dream that's never gonna come true in reality?
Kind of like what I was saying earlier, like these fighters I was just saying these fighters will never ever get any type of experience if they don't fight each other instead of waiting on Canelo. Like, and it just seems like another like if he had a fought Janabek, win or lose, like that would have been a legit test, test. Not even saying that Zach Parker's bad. I actually watched like a clip of him and was like, okay, he'll give Andrade some trouble, but like everyone and their grandmother knows how dangerous Janabek was looking. Like, dude already has some highlight reel KOs on Top Rank. He beat the guy that beat Murata, Rob Brandt, and another former champ, Nadam, recently. So there was just no reason.
You want to talk about you want to talk about somebody whose career.
Go on, Steve.
You want to talk about somebody's career who's turned out to be a nightmare. You can't say that any boxer on the face of this planet has had a worse career than Andrade. Demetrius, I don't know what's going on with his management. I don't know what's going on with his team.
31 fights.
It's horrible.
Man, he's
It's
fought
him.
nobody. Steven,
It's Andrade.
Andrade he's I don't know what's going on with that guy. That guy's
Honestly,
off.
that was the first time I was looking forward to an Andrade fight as well. Like if he was going to fight Janabek, because obviously,
Yeah, me too.
man, that guy's dangerous. And then
Yeah.
obviously Andrade flipping typical what he always does. He vacates his belt, and that he's now saying, "Oh, I want to fight Canelo." I want that, but when you could have done that ages ago. Now all of a sudden, when you've got a dangerous man, though, you now vacate your belt. Like it's so obvious.
Guys,
people don't see it because Janabek's unknown, so they're not going to assume that.
Is he trying to? I'll ask Campos. Is he trying to get a fight with Canelo, which is not possible, and he knows that Canelo? Because here's the thing, right? Matchroom offered Canelo. Matchroom have got Andrade, Bivol, and Golovkin, but they didn't offer Andrade because they obviously know that Canelo has no interest in that Andrade fight. So why is Andrade going up to 168 when he knows that he's going to fight a guy called Zach Parker next? And really, he's not going to get a Canelo fight anyway. So what's the purpose, Campos, for him moving up to 168? What is the purpose?
To avoid Johnny back. He could have moved up to he could have moved up to 168 a long time ago.
Facts. If he really wanted to fight Canelo, he could have. Like, they seriously let Canelo move up and get all 4 of the belts without doing anything of significance in between that. Like, I kind of have no sympathy. Like, no sympathy at all. Like,
you don't know why he didn't do it? Because it was a risk. He doesn't want to take any risks to lose that payday that he could get with Canelo. You know, that's exactly what Andrade's doing. He's taking easy fights just and constantly calling Canelo out to see if he can get the payday, but he doesn't want to risk himself because if he loses, because he knows if he loses, he's 100% not getting the fight. I mean, he's not even risking himself, and he's not getting it anyway. That guy's never going to get the fight. But if he actually does get some good names,
when's he gonna? Steven, when's he gonna get a big fight? When's he gonna get a big fight? He's 34. He's 34.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
31 fights already.
And let's just be real with it. Let's be honest with each other. Everybody, let's be honest with each other. Canelo ain't really checking for Andrade. He really ain't checking for him, man. So he need to move on with his life, move on with his career, you know, and try to make some fights, man. Try to at least get you one solid marquee fight. Everybody got that fight except for Andrade. You know what I'm saying? You know, Caleb Plant got Canelo. Everybody's had solid fights, but Andrade, you gotta move on. Canelo's elsewhere, man. It's kind of like the same thing with Gennady. You know what I'm saying? I love Gennady, but Gennady, you know what I'm saying, to keep going at the Canelo when that train is already passed is futile. You know what I mean?
Hey, Steven, do you think that at 168, Steven, do you think that BJ Saunders, Callum Smith, or like even Plant, do you think that they'll fight Andrade at that weight class?
Billy Joe ain't coming back, man.
Yeah,
come again.
He's retired.
Callum Smith is at 175.
Yeah, or Plant even.
Yeah,
Plant would fight him. I mean, but I'm pretty sure Plant wants to fight Benavidez or Charlo.
See, the thing is,
Claude says Andre ducking nobody. Claude in the chat says Andre ducking nobody. He's not getting the big fight.
He's ducking Janabek very clearly. He also
Andrade
those guys.
Andrade ducked Lara. Andrade ducked Jermel. Andrade didn't fight Trout. Andrade ducked Derevyanchenko. Andrade did not take the fight with Jacobs when Jacobs says he would do it. Andrade turned down the fight with Benavidez, and now Andrade ducked Janibek. The reason Andrade doesn't have any big fights is because he's turned them down. It has nothing to do with his management because he's had different management along the way, and he continues to turn down the fights.
Have we also forgotten how there was at one point, like, you know, when the pandemic was really rolling, I want to say it was like before the Callum Smith fight, like Like Team Canelo proposed a fight with Andrade, but he was on his. There's no crowd and there's no type shit. Or I'm gonna pull up that article right now.
Yeah, no, there was no Canelo. He was actually when he wanted to become undisputed. He was actually trying to fight Andrade, but obviously the IBF with what Oscar De La Hoya did. Obviously the 12 days situation. We all know how that went. Then obviously his belt his belt got vacated, so he had to beat Andrade and then get the IBF belt back. So he decided to move up and fight Kovalev. People just think he moved up and just avoided Andrade, avoided the WBO belt, but that's not true.
Hey, what I want to say is, Claude, if you want to jump on and give your take why you think Andrade's not ducking, you're more than welcome to jump on. I'll put the link in the chat. If you want to come on and give your say, you're more than welcome.
Hey, Makai, if Plant fights Andrade at 168, who's gonna watch that fight? That's gonna be a boring fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Plant's not the most exciting fighter in the world either.
Exactly. I mean, it's just boring fight. I mean, he fought Liam Williams. Liam Williams, he's an exciting fight. He's the guy who comes forward, and has a row you. Andrade still managed to make that boring because he just held every time Liam came close. Like, he just stinks out the whole place. Like, Andrade's just not entertaining. Like, I'd rather see Canelo fight John Ryder. I'd rather see him fight Callum Smith again and then him fight Andrade. Like, I don't care for that fight at all.
Yeah.
Honestly,
although his last
doesn't
fight,
interest me.
Okay, although his last fight was okay though, I think against an Englishman. What was his name again?
Yeah, Irishman again. Quigley.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew Andrade was going to get.
I think you've been a little hard.
I didn't see Andrade. I didn't think Andrade was going to get him out of there that early.
Go on, Stephen.
He went for it. So.
Do you think Andrade gets a lot more criticism than he deserves, Stephen?
Well, the criticism that he gets, he brings it on himself. So he brings that criticism on himself. But yeah, I think people when you employ those type of tactics, that type of strategy, you alienate your fan base, and they because your fan base looking like, hey man, listen, we want to see you in the ring, we want to see you there. But this is what I'm not gonna do. I ain't gonna say that he trash. Because Andrade got the skills to pay the bills. It's just that he ain't made the best career moves. That's all it is. I don't know what's going on with him, but he just ain't made. I think he does get a lot of criticism, but the criticism again is he brings it on himself.
Yeah, I agree.
So Claude says you guys want to see Andrade lose. Facts.
Do you know what? I'd actually love to see Andrade lose just so he can shut up about him being undefeated. Like, I mean, yeah, you're right. I actually do want to see Andrade lose.
Okay, I
mean, we're never going to see that because he's not going to fight anyone good.
You're funny, Makai.
Like, what's that quote? What's that thing he always shouts? Like, it's me again or something. Doesn't he say that? Like, that's so annoying when he says that. Like, he's very irritating.
So
even his hair.
Andrade, what fight do you think he should fight? I'm confused. I don't know who's he gonna get at 168. He's moved up. He's gonna move up. He's vacating his belt. He's moving up to 168. Who do you guys want to see him fight?
Maybe him and Benavidez. I like to see him and Benavidez. I think he gives
I think he beats Benavidez, by the way.
I mean, with the Benavidez fight, I mean, he kind of literally turned that down anyway. He got asked about it. He said, "Oh, does Benavidez have a belt? What does he bring?" And he then schedules to face Dusty Harrison. Like, that makes no sense.
I think Stephen. I think Andrade beats Benavidez. By the way, I think.
I don't know, man. I like Benavidez.
I think it outboxes.
Hey, Stephen, that's a good fight, man. Benavidez, Andrade, I like that.
Who wins that little penny?
Yeah, that's.
I want well, two things. I want Benavidez to win so that he can finally fight Canelo.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm thinking maybe Andrade because he might outbox him, and once again he'll stink out the joint maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Andrade's got the skills probably to beat. He won't not to beat Benavidez, but he won't knock him down or anything. He'll just outbox him, kind of like what Mayweather did to Mosley, kind of like that, where like Andrade's like at the end of the fight, he's probably trying to survive, so to speak. But Andrade won't push the envelope where he will try and knock him down. He'll just be content on scoring, scoring on the scorecard. But you know what? I do like that matchup. That's what Steven was saying. That's not a. I like that fight more.
Yeah, I like it too.
Can I ask you guys a question?
I agree. Look,
this might be a crazy question. At 154, does Demetrius Andrade beat Floyd Mayweather?
No. I mean, we've never seen Floyd actually fight that kind of style, but yeah, he definitely would beat Andrade.
Christian said that Andrade would beat Mayweather at 154.
Yeah, but of course Christian's going to say that. He loves Andrade.
Christian has on record said that he full on believes that Andrade would beat Artur Beterbiev. I've literally been in the comments with him, having, to my dismay, that conversation with him. So that nothing the sky's the limit for him. Bless his heart.
You know what? Here's the thing about Christian, though, man. People give Christian a bad, give him a hard time. But listen, man, that dude, man, he really analyzes and he breaks down point for point, skill for skill, every aspect of a boxing match. So, man, I mean, I know a lot of time, huh?
Oh, I was just saying he be flat out wrong about his assessments, though.
Yeah, he mostly be wrong.
Artur Beterbiev beaten by Andrade, like that's a crimson red flag.
Again, we don't. Here's the thing, though, Brendan. We don't know how good Andrade is. Like this guy might be something out of this world. Maybe he fights them guys and he absolutely takes them apart.
Let me tell you this before my phone died right now.
Yeah,
I was so hyped to like finally just sit down and watch a live Andrade fight whenever he fought Liam Williams. Right? When I watched him not only not finish Liam Williams, but gas and also like be wobbled several times to where and every time that he got hit really hard,
that was a good fight,
defense, man. What was to clinch for dear life.
I ain't gonna talk back on him. I like Demetrius Andrade. I like him. I like him a whole hell of a lot. I ain't finna turn my back on him, man. But just because he ain't making the best moves, I ain't gonna deny him what I see. That's a boxing fool, and Demetrius the real deal, man. I ain't finna do him like that now. I think what it is about Demetrius Andrade is that, man, again, his tactics, his little shenanigans, they alienate the fan base of boxing, and so people get frustrated. And what happens when people get frustrated? They start to dislike. But listen, I'm not gonna front on Demetrius Andrade because that dude can flat out fight, man. Now, I ain't, I don't want to get too caught up in the moment to where I really can't, break down a fight and analyze it, man. Hey, man, let me ask y'all though, Imran, let me ask you this, man. So, what you think about the boy, Gary Russell Jr. and
yeah. Well, which one? The one that lost to Masiago?
Yeah. What you think
How
about?
do you say his name? Masiago?
Magsayo. Yeah, but by the way, speaking of Magsayo, he's in a really good spot at the moment because what's around him are basically Mexican come forward fighters like Navarrete, Oscar Valdez can go down to 126, Ray Vargas. He's got a lot of opponents there where he can showcase his skills, kind of like when Pacquiao was at age 24, and then he had Barrera, Marquez, Morales around him. Magsayo's got that same thing now at 126. He can also fight the winner of Conlan versus I can't remember the other guy's name. Yeah, Lee Wood. So he's got a lot of. He's also got Leo Santa Cruz as well at 126. He's got a lot of good opponents there. Like, I wouldn't rematch Russell at all. Don't worry. Take that fight. Just
hey, Lil Penny, check it out.
Yep.
Check it out, Lil Penny. Check it out, dude. Check it out. Check me out, dude. I'm gonna make the bold prediction. Mateo, that dude, he ain't making it past the second round, dude. That dude is so green, so inexperienced. That man, that fight was his performance was horrible. It was horrible, man. It was pathetic, dude. And I don't see him really. Go ahead.
Steve, are you talking about the one hand Russell?
Yeah, one hand Russell. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, go ahead.
Wait. What are you saying? Are you saying like? Wait. So if Russell, like, let's just say that did happen to Russell, would Russell have won?
I think Russell. I think. Listen. If you really want to keep it all the way a buck, keep it a 100. I think Russell won that fight, man.
What?
For one hand.
I gave Magasiah like 9 rounds, like, and with Russell, I mean, Magasiah, you literally see it. Magasiah hits him in the shoulder in like the 5th or 6th round. And then
just hear me out. What I want you to do is I want you to go back and I want you to look at that fight. And when you see once Gary Russell Jr. once his shoulder went out on him, what he did was nothing short of spectacular. At times it looked like Magsayo wasn't even supposed to be there, man. It looked like he checked out because he was putting on a boxing clinic. He was counting him. He was just look. I want you to look at that fight. I beg you. I plead.
I did watch the fight. I saw Magsayo beat him up. I did see the fight. Russell, there's no way now Russell won that fight. Russell thinks he won 10 rounds.
Nah,
like, ridiculous.
I disagree with you, man. I disagree with you. When it came to making the most countering and landing the more clean, precise shots. I mean, again, I'm saying this. Listen, I don't have no dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see that fight for what it was, and I had Magsayo winning the fight. I picked him to win. Let's say it like that. But when I said he was so green, and poor Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach at this point he needs to stop training because he's becoming a spectacle. He didn't even know he didn't know what to tell Magsayo. He didn't give him no clear guidance. It was just a disaster, man. And they gave that fight to him because he's the younger fight, and everybody tired of Gary Russell Jr. talking all crap. Gary Russell Jr. been talking all that crap and everything. So I think they was ready to get him out of there because he don't fight for 2 years, and they pretty much had to get that fight to Magsayo. Gary Russell Jr. He outboxed. He clearly outclassed Magsayo.
Stephen, I you know what? I can't believe I'm hearing this from you. What the hell? Like, for me,
Mackay,
most
Mackay, I agree with you. I think Magsayo definitely won. I think 9 rounds to 3 sounds okay. But I also agree with Stephen that I don't want that rematch. Magsayo should stay away from Gary Russell Jr., especially when he has two hands available. He should fight those Mexican fighters like what Pacquiao did when he was 24, so that he can become a superstar himself. If he fights Gary Russell Jr. in a rematch, I don't know. I don't think that's gonna do well.
I think he'd beat. I mean, right? How you look at it? Right? What round did Magsayo hit Russell's shoulder and then he done it?
What round was that? What round was it?
I think it was like the 5th
before that.
Because
right, what was happening in those 4 rounds? I still had Magsayo winning. He was still doing great. He was still winning. He was still winning those rounds. That's the thing.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Now, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. Okay, whatever before Gary Russell Jr. He got his when he had two hands. It's weird. Because Maxayo was winning when he had two hands, but as soon as he went to default, that's when his veteran boxer prowess kicked in, and that's when I we were just looking and we were like, dang, saying Gary Russell Jr. He show is outclassing and outpointing them. He was turning them. It was beautiful. I like the way he did with one hand. I'd rather see him fight with one hand than two hands.
I mean, man, Magaso, just the volume as well, like his body shots. He was landing very clean punches as well, in my opinion. Like he was just a better fight for me. I really thought he clearly won it. A lot of people also did as well. I don't know why.
Just do me a favor, man. Do me a favor. Whenever you get some time, a little time, rewatch the fight and
I'll watch it again. No doubt.
Yeah, and at least, I think if you do rewatch the fight, I think you'll say that, dang, Steven, he wasn't that far off. He might have a little point here. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
Hey, Steven, the copy box number says that Magsayo won. He landed more punches, but it was a good performance by Russell Jr. to fight with just one hand. Yeah, but the thing is, dude, like, if you got one hand, then so be it. Like you're not gonna get extra points for landing a punch with just one hand. Like it's still if he lands, it's still 1 point. Whereas Magsayo's landing two.
That's a good point, right? Right with it, right. Let's just say, when Russell was turning him, he'll go boom, he'll catch him, and then the Magasayo would get like 4 punches on him, like 2 to the body, 2 to the head, like he just mixed up a lot more. He would land more. Gary Russell would land clean. And for
a large portion of that fight, Maxayo was trying to, once Gary Russell Jr. once he kicked into survival mode, because that's what happened. He kicked in survival mode. He knew his belt was online, and that's why he performed the way he did. But for the duration of that, when that was happening, Maxayo was trying to figure him out, and he didn't come alive until maybe the 11th and 12th round. I gave the 12th round was real convincing. I had meaning, that round, but he was really trying to figure out and trying to adjust to Gary Russell Jr. You know what I'm saying? Again, don't take my word for it. I want you to go and just, cut down the volume on it, watch the fight with no volume, and just, and you will see what I'm talking about.
See, Stephen, the problem with Gary Russell Jr. is now that even with his injury, instead of fighting once every 2 years, because he's got an injury now, it'll take time to heal. He'll probably fight in 3 years' time. So the rematch will probably happen when Magsayo is the true A side, because Magsayo will have probably like 10 fights in between then. So
Russell, man, he's so talented. He was so good. Like, I mean, people were watching him in the Olympics. Like he was supposed to win that thing, but he couldn't make weight. Like he was so inactive. He just doesn't have the desire, to fight. I mean, it was very obvious as well. Like he just. I'm going to kind of say as well. He was kind of cherry after. I mean, fair enough. He fought Loma. But I mean, this was Loma, like his third fight. He probably thought he was going to win that. But like it kind of seemed like he'd just been cherry picking. I mean, it was fairly obvious he was doing it. Like, the guy was so talented, but he just didn't have any desire to win. Like,
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. You know what, man? You know what? They more or less had to give that fight to Maxayo, because you're gonna give the title back to, and I don't think that I think. Just to keep it all the way a buck, I think if you watching that fight for the first time and you really don't know how to score boxing, you're probably gonna score for Maxayo. You're gonna say Maxayo, he won. But listen, all that aside, do you really want Gary Russell Jr. to stay a champion? Because he ain't doing. He's another ISIS.
No.
Hey, Steven, Russell Jr. was a champion for the WBC at 126 for 5 years. and he had like 4 or 5 title defenses in like 5 to 6 years. So, whereas Magsayo, he won't hold that belt hostage. He will fight twice a year. Sometimes he might fight 3 times a year. He won't care because he hasn't got any money, dude. Unlike Russell, who's probably very rich himself now, Magsayo is not rich at all. He's far from that. So he's going to fight as often as he can to get more money.
Thing is with Russell, like I don't get as well. Like he was in a division where he clearly could have been on the street. I mean, right?
Yeah.
There was a time when Warrington, Leo Santa Cruz had the belts. Imagine what he would have done to Warrington. Like that would have been I'm sorry, Warrington. There's no way in hell Warrington would win that fight. Like, imagine what he would have done to him. Like, well, I don't know why he didn't go for that fight. Warrington wanted that fight. Like, I just don't know why he didn't fight him. That would have been he would have won quite comfortably.
You know what I think he should do? I think he should retire, man, and go into training because Devin the Dream Haney, he said that he said that he was a bum or whatever. And I tell you who stepped up to the plate, Gary Anton Russell. And Gary Anton Russell is, man, for Steven. Gary Anton Russell is, man, that dude is lights out, cameras, action. That dude is full on a beast. That dude is a full on killer. He's a killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, let's just hope he's not like Gary Russell, like stays inactive and everything. I hope he's like he's active. He starts fighting. I mean, who he's fighting now. He's fighting Victor Postal. Like that's a
good fight.
Big step up in competition. I think he's gonna win that. I mean, Gary Anton Russell is he like about the same size as Gary? Wait, what weight is he again? He's 140, yeah. So he's near enough the same size as his brother, yeah. They're near enough the same size, yeah. He beat Boots Ennis in the amateurs. I mean, and Boots, he's a lot more bigger than him, man. Like obviously, I mean, this is in the amateurs. They were near the same size.
Not once. Hey, Makai, he beat him not once, not twice.
Can you guys hear me?
Twice.
He beat him 3 times. Look at that. I mean, people how people are hyping Boots Ennis right now. I don't see people hyping up Gary Anton Russell like they're hyping Boots up.
Hey, Makai, Stephen.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, Stephen, you go.
No, I was just gonna say. I was gonna ask Imran what do you think about Gary Anton Russell.
I think that guy's he's a monster.
He's a complete monster.
I think he's a monster. I think him and Jaron Ennis a problem. Big
problem.
Yo, is it true that he called out Devin Haney recently?
Who?
Gary Anton.
Yeah. Did he do that? I heard somewhere he called out. He said he's gonna make him quit. Devin Haney.
I think he will make Devin Haney quit. I think he'll send Devin Haney to the hospital.
Nah, Devin Haney's like
crazy,
slick.
man.
Nah, Devin Haney's good.
I'm telling you, if Devin Haney get in that ring with Gary Anton Russell, he leaving on a stretcher.
Is he 140? Is he 140?
Now he ain't 140, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying is Gary fighting at 140?
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's a possible fight because he's probably gonna call out.
How old is Gary Anton Russell?
Huh?
How old is he?
Gary Anton Russell Jr. He like maybe about like what you say you ran about 21, 22?
Yeah, I think he's 22.
He's 21, 22, and if you compare him to what Devin's done, and he's 21, I think. So I'm sure, you can't just say he's gonna put him in a stretcher. Come on, Stephen.
Man, I'm trying to tell you though, man. I'm trying to tell you. I think Gary Anton Russell.
He's 25.
One thing
we're gonna see how good that Gary Anton Russell is because he's fighting Postal, man. And Postal, we all know Victor Postal ain't no mug. I mean, people even think he beat Jose Ramirez. People even think that.
Is Postal
is Postal better than
Postal better than Linares?
Linares.
Devin Haney. Devin Haney is special.
The Linares that Haney fought. The Linares. I don't really
Roscoe's a
know.
140 fighter.
Yeah.
Devin Haney is the next Mayweather, man.
What? No way. I mean, Mayweather. Let's be Mayweather. He actually has a chin. He had a chin. He can take good punches. Haney can't
people are underestimating what he's done in such a short, career at age of 21. He's a world champion, and he's beat really top opposition. And then you're comparing him to guys that are the same age and not done near enough compared to anything he's done.
But did he win? He didn't actually win the belt, though, did he? He got it by an email.
Yeah, because Lomachenko didn't want to fight him, though, innit? How's he going to go?
No.
How's he going to fight Lomachenko if he doesn't want to fight him?
Loma never ducked Haney. I mean, Loma's tried fighting Devin Haney.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think Loma's ducking Haney. Like, what the hell?
Listen, if you wanted to be undisputed, then why didn't you fight Haney then?
Bro, because he fought to fight Lopez.
What are you talking about?
If you
Right. This is right. See, Lopez, he had the IBF. Loma had all the belts. He wanted to fight Lopez. He fought Lopez.
No, Loma had all the belts minus the WBC.
He got moved to franchise. He never done. Haney never actually pushed for the fight or anything. I mean, his dad literally exposed it. He literally accidentally said it.
You're saying he's undisputed. Well, he's not undisputed because he's got a franchise belt. That's a made-up belt. It's not a belt. So
Mauricio's
Lomachenko fought for the WBC belt against Campbell, and right after that, he fought Lopez for the IBF. That's back-to-back unification. Why would a mandatory override that? That's what Devin Haney was, a basic mandatory, a basic contender. He wasn't a champion. And at that time, Lomachenko was trying to consolidate all the belts.
Who's the WBC champion?
Kambosos.
Right now.
He ain't.
Well, I don't know the WBC. Kambosos
he's got all the belts. Haney, he's got an email
before this undisputed world happened here.
He's the champion as well. But look, it's like the super belt. Look, let's keep it basic, mate. It's just like the super belt, right?
Listen,
at 135, is Kambosos the WBA champion or is Tank Davis? Who do you see?
Where franchise belt come from? Which champion had a franchise belt before Lomachenko? Which champion defended that belt?
Saul Alvarez.
Yeah, I think Canelo.
Yeah, okay, because he avoided Golovkin at that time, and he got the.
It's up to the WBC if they want to add or take away belts.
There you go. There's my point. The point is the franchise belt.
That's a lie, though, because Lomachenko fought Luke Campbell for the WBC, and then right after that, he fought Kambosos the IBF, right? That's back-to-back unification, right? And why would Lomachenko stop all that fight basic contender? That doesn't make any sense.
If there's one person that ain't ducking, that's Loma. And he's trying to fight the big fights. He's just not getting them.
Why is it so lagging or that? Boys and noise.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Someone's
that's
connection.
Really hurt my ears. That's really hurt my ears. I can't hear nothing. I can still hear it, man.
Hey, Ash. Yes. Is it Ash?
Someone got hair on.
Ash, Kambosos versus Haney in Australia.
Guys, what's going on? The background noise.
It's. Wait. Yeah, I think it's.
It's gone now. Yeah, Ash, can you answer that question? Kambosos versus Haney in Australia, who wins?
Haney.
By decision?
Yeah, I think by decision. Haney hasn't shown in his fights that he's got power, like knockout power, but I think
Ash, I don't know if Haney can win a decision in Australia. You know how Australia is.
Yeah, but you know what it is with the Jeff Owen and Manny Pacquiao fight. It was a bit different because Devin Haney's in his coming up to his prime. You know, he's in his Manny Pacquiao at that time was coming near the end, and Jeff Owen is not that much of a slouch that people think he is. And obviously, on that time, obviously it was the wrong decision. But in regards to Devin Haney is in his prime, just to say, and he's a better boxer than him. He's boxed his head off.
Hey Ash, that was a high rate robbery too, huh? Horn.
Yeah, that was it. What it's part of boxing, isn't it? Because it's reasons why like for example, Mayweather didn't fight out of Vegas because just to take that out of the equation where he could get robbed. It's one of them things. It happens,
Same,
and you can't.
same as Canelo. Canelo also gets like a pretty good favorite in Las Vegas too.
Say that again, Penny Canelo. What?
Canelo also gets a bit of favor from Las Vegas
Yeah,
judges
yeah,
as well.
he does in a way
No,
as
but
well
Canelo
because I
fights
remember
in
the one fight he had
Texas.
with
Canelo
I
fights
think it
in
was
New
Triple
York.
G on the. I think with the Triple G fight, he was the first fight. One of the judges had him up, I think 10 rounds or something. I think it was. Yeah, the woman judge, I think it was. I remember. Yeah,
That was Adeline Bird.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
something bird. Yeah.
So what it is. When you're a top, let's say echelon fighter, you get these benefits of the diets here and there,
Yeah, you
But
do.
I just wanted to touch on the Russell fight. I think that Filipino guy. I think you need to do more to win the belt. I didn't think he did enough.
Well,
To beat the champion. Years ago. Anyway, you have to be seen to have beat him. And like with Russell with one arm
He won more
and it
rounds.
didn't really hurt Russell or anything. I
That's
think
what I
they
was
should have
saying,
gave
man.
it a draw, if anything.
he won like
Yeah,
9
that's
rounds.
exactly what I was saying, man. That's what I was saying, man. That fight, man. Listen to me, Makai. Check it out. I beg of you. I beg. I want you to go back and look at that fight, man. Look at that fight. Turn the volume down, and you gonna see what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah, of course I will. I'm definitely gonna watch it again
It
anyway.
wasn't.
But
What I'm trying to say is not.
my mind will still be in the same. I guarantee.
What I'm trying to say is obviously, if you have to pick a winner, then maybe yeah, you can edge and give it to the Filipino guy because maybe he was more of the aggressor in a way. But what he did in the ring and what he didn't really hurt Russell. He didn't really dominate the fight in a way that you take the belt of the champion. Is what I'm trying to say.
I thought he did. I thought he did enough to.
But Makai, to win a fight, right? To win a fight on the scorecards, you have to hit the other guy more times than your opponent. This theory, like I think what's his name, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, kind of like started that way. If you're the champion, your opponent has to get
But
get the
that's not
belt
how.
from you per se. But it doesn't work like that. That's why he lost.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, but that's not how. Right. When people say I feel you have to beat the champion to actually win. That's
Yeah.
not how it works. I mean, you go by round 1, round 2.
Yeah.
Did he do enough to win that round? Yes, he did. So that
Yes.
means he won that round. Yeah, you don't need to beat the hell out of the champion to actually win it. That's not how it works. So to me, it makes no sense.
I'm looking for who's scoring, who's making more educated punch placement. That's what I'm looking for. I ain't looking at who's more active. And a lot of times we get blindsided by that. Oh, this guy he's more active. He's fighting like a Tasmanian devil. He's like a Tasmanian devil. But if he ain't doing nothing, if he ain't
But Stevie, Magsayo, he's in a prime position now where he's got all of these options. I don't think he should include Gary Russell in a rematch as one of his options. He should fight those Mexican guys so that he'll be in a very exciting fight. So then he can become a star himself, kind of like where Nonito Donaire was at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Nonito Donaire was a killer. He was a natural born killer. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen. There's not many boxers on this planet like Nonito. You know what I'm saying? Nonito, keeps on defying Father Time. He gave Inoue that's one of the best fights I ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? I just think that I just think. Yeah.
Hey, Stephen, Rachel Donaire also said in a podcast that Nonito, if he can't get the Inoue fight, Nonito is willing to go down to 115 to fight the winner of the Chocolatito Martinez fight.
Nah, man, that'd be too much of a cut.
Yeah.
Nonito's so big for the weight that he's at. That'd be
I think so too, man. I want to see him. I still want to see him and Casemiro.
Yeah, I mean, don't know. He's rematching anyway now, isn't he? Which I'm looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, but they can't, Makai. They can't though because Japan is in a lockdown, and the where that fight will happen, where it gets the most money, is in Japan. They can't make that rematch in America because it won't make that much money. It has to be in Japan, so he has to wait. So instead of waiting, he should fight someone else.
Yeah, Penny. Who's that?
Yep.
Is there a Mexican guy at that weight that has got a belt as well?
At 118.
I knew his weight, isn't he? We called him out. I can't remember his name's not coming to me now.
Who's that?
He recently was in Mario or something like that.
Yeah, they're mainly Filipinos in that weight class.
Yeah, I think he's a Filipino. Is it Marioga? Casemiro, I think it could be.
Casemiro, yeah.
I think Casemiro's trash.
He's got power though, Makai.
Yeah, he's got power. Yeah. That's all, man. Like he just does the same thing. I mean, it was a bit like in the when he fought Rigondeaux. I mean, the guy was just winging his left hook. Like it was like so.
Oh yes,
yeah, it was just so. Yeah, like you better not be fighting anyway like that because you'll get crushed.
In a way, he's a good fighter, but.
Nonito did the same thing too to Rigondeaux. He was doing the same thing. So.
I mean, oh my god, I forgot about that. Donell, he actually scheduled to face Casemiro and then he pulled out because because it was honestly it was the worst pullout ever though. I mean, didn't he pull out because Casemiro was saying nasty stuff to him?
No, to his wife. To his wife.
Okay, yeah. So you fight him and punish him for it. You don't like.
That's why a lot of the Filipinos in Philippines they were saying that to Donaire. He goes, Nonito, settle it in the ring. It's just words, man. It's just trying to play with your mind. Like he probably doesn't even think that, but Nonito wanted his respect first. Dude, Nonito, what is wrong with you? Fight him in the ring. Settle it in the ring.
I don't know what.
Sometimes that's the reason why a lot of the Filipinos, they don't endear themselves to Nonito because they think Nonito is a little bit of a, like he's fake in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
really?
I don't know,
they look at him like you know real Mexicans Mexicans looked at De La Hoya. They looked at him like he was.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Very, very good comparison. Yes.
Man, I tell you what, man. I don't know about y'all, man, but I'm getting tired of this COVID. You know, half the time I feel sick, man. I've been feeling sicker lately. Has anybody else caught it?
No.
I mean, I had COVID quite a while ago.
Yeah. I think Imran got COVID. Imran, did you get COVID?
Yeah, I did. It was a while ago, though. Yeah, I felt quite sick. I got quite sick over it, to be honest.
It's supposed to be cold, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting sick of it, man.
Ash, did you get COVID, Ash?
Yeah, I did. You know, around Christmas time.
Oh damn.
Did you get it bad or did you have a lot of symptoms?
I lost taste and smell and stuff like that, and well, I was just really tired and stuff like that, really.
Stephen, Eric's asking you a question.
What's up, man? What's up, Eric?
He goes, Stephen, who you got, Chocolatito or Ray Martinez? I got Chocolatito over experience alone.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I got Chocolatito, man. I got Chocolatito, man. All day.
No, but what do you think about? Go on, Little Penny.
Imran, can we? If Chocolatito wins, that's what Stephen was saying. Can we get a trilogy with Richard Sarongvasai? Chocolatito versus
Sarongvasai just seems like he had his number, eh?
I want to see him fight Strada. Strada pulled out. I would say that he got robbed in that fight. So
I think these little guys need to retire earlier than the bigger guys because the wars that these guys have, especially Chocolatito. If he keeps going on like that, he's not gonna have a brain cell left.
Chocolatito, man, that dude been in some scraps, man. He been in
That's what I'm
some
saying.
serious rumbles. And
I think he should retire,
I
man.
wouldn't be surprised if he gonna be punch drunk sooner than later. Somebody
Yeah,
was
because
talking about
he's at
Taylor
about
earlier.
What? Katie Taylor?
he's at about 60
They
fights. I
said
think.
that he's had a punch.
Yeah. He's been in a lot of tough fights. Yeah, Chocolatito's been in a lot of tough fights as well.
What's gonna happen between the boy Keith one time and
My boy
Mario
Keith one time.
$74.
When are they fighting?
Makai doesn't rate him, when I told. Makai don't rate Thurman. I told you.
What was that?
So you don't really rate him highly, do you, Thurman?
Thurman? I think you've got. Well, now I don't. I guess I don't really rate Thurman. You know, the guys were fought in ages, but I don't remember me ever downgrading Thurman. I think that was
No, I didn't say downgrade him, but obviously, I mean, like, you want to put him up there as one of the top welterweights now.
What was that?
You want to put him up there as one of the top welterweights.
No, I would not. I wouldn't put him up there now. No.
I reckon he'll kill Barrios, because Barrios is really a blown up 135. Now he's fighting at 147. I think he'll kill Barrios, man.
Imagine if Barrios wins. Oh my god! Imagine the Tank fans. What they'll start saying. So Tank's win's not so bad now after all, is it?
Hey Makai, the LGBTC community will say Barrios is the pound for pound number 2 fighter in the world behind Tank.
Tell me about it, Jesus.
What is Keith Thurman? Is Keith Thurman finished as a top tier fighter?
Not against Barrios. No, he's not finished.
Not against Barrios. I mean, like against Spence and stuff.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Crawford would dismantle him. Yeah, he's not a top. I mean, the guy's been inactive, man. Like he's.
No, what you gotta remember?
Injured so many times. Like it's just he's. It's not his fault as well that he's inactive like that. You know, these injuries and everything has played a big factor into it.
I think
I still got myself.
I think Keith Thurman's still up there as a top 4, top 5. I think because you got to remember Keith Thurman is, if not the hardest hitter, at welterweight. Keith Thurman has only lost to Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman, yes, has had some tough fights where he's been seen hurt and people think he's vulnerable. But what you got to remember is, if you go back to his resume, he's got the best resume. Maybe if you look at his resume in the welterweight division. And yes, he's not at his best because he's been rusty and hasn't had the ring. But I think with his power, them guys haven't been tested with that type of power. Therefore, guys have got that kind of power and they can box as well and can be hurt and not give up and have that dog and keep fighting. So
I mean, I hope Thurman isn't like washed or anything, because I actually quite like Thurman anyway. I want him to be I want him to fight with the top guys. Because with Thurman, he's powerful. I feel he could do it all. He can box, he can bang with you. I mean, he done it with Danny Garcia. I just hope he's not like it's completely washed or anything. But we'll see. I don't know when he's fighting, but
hey Makai, the problem with Keith is the same problem with Joshua. He got too civilized, dude. Like when he was fighting Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, he had the eye of the tiger per se, and then he lost it. He got married. He got too civilized. Even against that Pacquiao fight, if you watch the Fox, that show where they follow them when he wakes
All
up.
Access, whatever thingy, yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like a 4-hour thing where the camera follows him from when he wakes up on Saturday until fight night. Dude, that guy was kissing his wife like freaking 10 times. Dude, someone's about to kill you on the other side. Why are you kissing your wife? You gotta focus. You know what I mean? You gotta Manny's not kissing Jinky and all that. Jinky's somewhere else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta focus, dude. But and Makai, when that happened, right? I thought, no, this guy's not. His mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you never know what's actually going on in a fighter's head. We never actually did. We never actually know. So, but it's what it is.
So if I was to ask you guys about who Jamal, Bivol, Canelo fight next, who do you think they're gonna fight? Who do you think is Canelo's next fight, Makai?
I think it will be Charlo. That's what I think it will be.
Is that the fight you want?
I want it to be Bivol because I think Bivol would beat Canelo. So I want to see someone who I think can actually beat Canelo. It will excite me. I know he's gonna get. I know he's gonna beat Charlo. I know he's probably gonna get him out there too. But he's probably gonna fight Charlo because it's more of a lucrative fight than Bivol.
What do you think, Ahmed?
Yeah, I'd love it if he fought Bivol. I really wish he fights Bivol. I mean, and doesn't fight Charlo. I mean, because everybody knows you can beat Charlo, but this Bivol fight is one where I know it's going to be a really tough fight, and I have Bivol favorite. Like I'd have it 55-45 in Bivol's favor.
Wow. What do you make of the Demetrius Andrade situation, Ahmed?
Andrade situation, I think he's done the right thing in vacating. To be honest with you, and looking for this Canelo fight because he does deserve it, and he has got the abilities to cause Canelo problems, and I think he should be next in line after like Bivol maybe.
Do you think Canelo beats Charlo, Bivol, Beterbiev?
Well, I don't think he can beat Bivol and Beterbiev, but I think Andrade will give him Canelo a better fight than Charlo.
You think Andrade will give him a better fight?
Yeah, but I think Canelo just about beats Andrade and Charlo. He beats Charlo and he just about beats Andrade. But Bivol's the fight I want to see because that's what we're gonna find out what Canelo's really made of.
Thing is, though, if Canelo did beat Bivol, he wouldn't get credit because Bivol, he's not really known.
No,
so,
we knows hardcore fans. Bivol's
exactly. Us hardcores, we know Bivol is a way tougher fight than Charlo, but the majority of people they just won't. I mean, I'm already seeing people, saying, "Oh, I don't want Canelo to fight Bivol. I want him to fight Charlo." Blah blah, But
Imran thinks Bivol lacks in the power department, but trust me, man, Bivol can punch.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Bivol's got power, man. He's got power. He just doesn't show it. He just doesn't, he doesn't go into second gear or anything. He doesn't he does what Andrade does really. He just plays it safe, if you know what I mean. He doesn't go for it when he clearly can. That's just what Bivol does. But with the Canelo fight, we'll see a different kind of Bivol, I think.
Yeah, I'd call Canelo a legend, man, if he beats Bivol. And even if he doesn't beat Beterbiev, if he can even just beat Bivol, that'll be awesome for him.
Yeah, imagine if he stops him as well.
That'll
be even more.
Yeah,
I like the Beterbiev fight better because that's more of exciting. Whereas the Bivol one, I agree with you, Maka. I don't think I'll get any credit for that because I reckon Bivol poses a more dangerous fight for him because of Bivol's power, and Bivol will bring it to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Bivol is kind of like an ambush fighter, whereas like with Bivol, that would be like a strategic. Like I don't know. I mean, I like the Bivol fight, but to me, to answer Imran's initial question, I think Canelo will fight Makabu next. I don't think that they'll. I don't think that they were kidding around when they announced that at the WBC convention. But I don't know why it's taking so long though, because it's nearly February. I mean, they should announce it.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope because obviously there isn't Makabu fighting this week.
Yeah, he's fighting Michinu.
You know what? You know what? Canelo might be there. He'll probably watch that fight just to see.
Well,
Yeah, he
maybe.
is gonna be
I
there.
mean, we don't know what's gonna happen in that fight. Macabu might lose, and then or even if Macabu wins, it might be a flipping 12-round war where he gets injured, or he'll be bruised up and everything, and he won't be ready for May. So it could be that, but I mean, it seems to me now that Canelo, he's not trying to fight Macabu anymore. He's trying to, fight either one of those guys.
Yeah.
So if Canelo, here's why I don't understand. Why has Matchroom offered him a Bivol and Golovkin fight with offering Bivol next when Golovkin's at 160? I don't understand.
Golovkin will move up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't want to see him fight Golovkin now because Canelo beats Golovkin now easy.
Yeah, he beats Golovkin now. That fight don't really interest me, but I still think Golovkin would give a tougher fight to a better fight to Canelo than Charlo would.
Possibly.
You know what? I kind of think that if that trilogy ever happens, Triple G might do a Marquez, like when Pacquiao fought Marquez the fourth time.
Oh, imagine.
Thought, this Marquez guy, I think it was 38, 39 at the time when they fought the fourth time, and Pacquiao was 35, I think, or 34, I can't remember. But everyone thought that this guy Marquez, man, had so many wars. This guy's gone, man. Like Pacquiao's gonna kill him in the fourth fight. And then Marquez did the opposite. I was thinking, maybe Triple G can do that to Canelo.
If Triple G does that, I know for a fact he won't give Canelo a fourth fight because obviously, Canelo made him wait. I mean, Canelo would ask him for a rematch, but nah. You made me wait for 3 years. You chose you decided to pick me when I was out of my prime.
Yeah,
I'm not fighting you anymore, and then he'll retire.
And Makai, the US dollar goes a long way in Kazakhstan, so he's got a lot of money himself too.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think if he does win that third fight, I don't think Triple G will give him the fourth fight.
And people will still say he's ducking Andrade. You just know that's gonna happen. I can just see that happening.
Yeah. But Canelo's got a lot of options, man. Like even though I feel sorry for Canelo, dude, because he doesn't. His legacy, even though he's really good, he doesn't have the names, and it's not his fault either, because a lot of the guys that we're saying quote unquote names, they're not fighting each other, so we can't see Bivol and even at that 168, they never fought each other, so we don't know how good they are. So they're just waiting for Canelo. So that kind of taints Canelo's name, because he doesn't have that. Apart from Triple G, who was in his prime when they fought, he really doesn't have any other fights, to make him like this great fighter that we think that he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like this. Right, all the guys that people want Canelo to fight, even before like he fought Smith and all that, these guys, they're all undefeated. People were calling for his fights. I mean, none of them even fought anyone good. They wasn't fighting each other. We could literally call every single one of Canelo. Right, we could call Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, all overrated because they haven't actually fought anyone. They were just undefeated when they fought him. They might not even be that good. I mean, the only person we can't actually call overrated if Canelo beats him would be Beterbiev, obviously, because he's clearly proven himself. Golovkin, of course. People can even call Bivol overrated if Canelo beats him, because Bivol, he hasn't. I mean, he's got very underrated wins, but he hasn't got that win that attracted fans or anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It's just like that. But we don't know what these guys are going to do. We don't know what Plant is going to do. We don't know what Smith's going to do. Maybe they could be fighting big names.
But look at the way Bivol beat Joe Smith and stuff. I mean, if you go back and watch him, man, he's a real talent. He's a real talent.
Yeah, Yeah. Joe Smith, he's got a belt now. Yeah. That's what I mean about the underrated wins. Yeah, but like it's just with Beterbiev is a lot more proven because of Grodzvik and everything. That win, just how he beat him and everything. But I just there's just no way you can call Beterbiev overrated if Canelo would beat him. But I mean, everyone else, they was all undefeated. They fought no one. But we just need to see how they go after.
Mackay, his solution is so just to analyze Canelo's career from a legacy standpoint. He fought Triple G. He lost the first fight. He won the second fight. Okay, we'll give him that. Okay, he fought Miguel Cotto, who was a lineal champ at 160, even though Miguel Cotto was a little bit washed up. So I don't know if we can give him full credit for that, even though Canelo was a lineal champ. Apart from that, he doesn't really have anybody. So one solution he can do is to clean up a division. Because to me, when you clean up a division, even though they're nobodies, when you clean up a division when in an era when no one fights each other, I think that's equivalent to fighting someone who's good. So if he cleans up another division like 175, so he has Triple G, he has Cotto, cleaned up 168, cleaned up 175. I mean, that's a pretty good legacy there. And then say he wins a belt at cruiserweight. I think that's not. He'll be in the top 20 all-time great if he does that.
I mean, judging how boxing's been now, I mean, no one in 20 years' time is anyone going to remember? Right, because we don't know what Caleb Plant or like guys like Callum Smith what they're going to be doing following on in their career. We don't actually know what they're going to do. They could be fighting nobodies for the next 10 years. So in 20 years' time, no one's going to care about when Canelo beat Caleb Plant or Callum Smith. Like the only names they're going to remember is obviously Golovkin because I mean he's actually in the history books and everything.
No, but Mackay, people will remember he cleaned out a division. You know what I mean? Not necessarily their names, but he cleaned out like say 2 divisions, 168, 175 when he was the smaller man.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, he hasn't done the 175 yet. But if he does, then yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, if he does the 175, then he'll go down as a real legend.
Yeah. I think he kind of already is a legend, right? But I think to be in the echelon of say Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and those guys, like even I don't know, like Sugar Ray Leonard, that sort of a level. I think he needs to clean out 175 to me and also win a belt at cruiserweight. I don't care who it is. Like if it's Makabu, then so be it, right? Because he doesn't need to. I mean, to ask him to fight the best at cruiserweight, I mean, geez, that's asking for a little bit too much. But if he cleans out 175, wins the belt at cruiserweight, I'll be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Ahmed?
Yeah, I agree with you there. If he cleans up 175, and then then he can fight any champion out cruiserweight, and then basically he'll have solidified his legacy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Especially in an era when, I mean, apart from Canelo, which other fighter has cleaned out a division? I don't think Inoue has done that.
Well, I mean Crawford, not Crawford actually. To be honest, I'm not going to say Crawford.
Oh no, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's done it.
Josh Taylor. Yeah, Usyk at cruiserweight.
No, Crawford has done it. Crawford cleaned out division.
At 140.
Yeah. I guess you can say clean. Yeah, 140.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, obviously we can go back, but I mean, like, if we're talking like this, there's not really a lot.
Yeah, after that it's Hopkins, I think.
Yeah, after that it's Hopkins. Yeah. So
Roy Jones at 175, undisputed.
Yeah.
Roy Jones was undisputed at 175, had all his defenses, then moved up to heavyweight. So in a similar fashion, if Canelo can clean out 175, and if he can't go to heavyweight, cruiserweight, that'll be enough.
Yeah. Hey, Stephen just brought up a name, Roy Jones. If he does that, Ahmed Makai or even Imran, do you think it's better than Roy Jones from a legacy point of view?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I think so too.
Because,
like from a resume.
but if he cleans out 175 and wins the title at cruiserweight, that'll be similar to what Roy did. But Roy went to heavyweight and he won the heavyweight title, innit?
Yeah, but
I mean, Canelo's also he's also done at 154 and 160.
Yeah, but to be compared to Roy Jones Jr., he's got to be undisputed at light heavyweight, and he's got to win at least.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But Ahmed, if you look at Roy Jones' his resume, his legacy, like in terms of long-term legacy, he really didn't. He really doesn't have it. He doesn't have that longevity per se, because after the
He was fighter of the decade. He was fighter of the decade in the 90s. What are you on about by longevity?
Yes. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Ahmed, is that he doesn't have this longevity like what Pacquiao did and like what Bernard Hopkins did. Like after he was like 32 years old, he was washed already.
I don't think Roy Jones was undisputed anyway.
Yeah, he was undisputed at light heavyweight, and with 12 defenses. He was with 12 defenses.
He didn't have the WBO belt. What was his name? Yeah, no. It was this.
Glenn Johnson.
It was this Russian. I think it was a Russian. Him and Roy, they were trying to fight each other, but Roy was refusing. Roy was refusing to go to his country to fight him, so it never happened. Like the guy, he just stayed in his country and defended it like 10 for the
No.
Yeah, I think I know.
No, you're talking about Mikhail Chesky, aren't you?
I think that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah, but Roy was the main man. Roy was the Floyd at that time, and basically, it was all about Roy at that time, and he was undisputed at light heavyweight with 12 defenses. That's awesome. That only remember she started at 154.
Ahmed, what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm not saying like he ducked or anything, but yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't undisputed.
What I'm saying is that, like, Hopkins had a better longevity than Roy Jones Jr., right? Because
Roy Jones Jr.'s first loss, apart from the disqualification, his first real loss came at Torva at the age of 35. He was 35 years. He was 35 years old when he had his first loss in exceptional circumstances, coming down to light heavyweight and beating Torva.
Now,
and then losing at the next fight in the rematch at the age of 35.
With Roy Jones.
Yeah, go, Makai.
No, thank you. I'm just saying with Roy Jones, because the guy was so like naturally gifted and everything, like he was so fast, like his reflexes and everything were just top notch. Yeah, but then when he started getting older and all that, his reflexes started going. That's why he was getting knocked out a lot. Because he's because Roy Jones, he didn't have the best fundamentals. He was just so naturally gifted. He could get away with a lot of those things. But obviously then when he got older, then his reflexes went slower, and then that's when the fundamentals did mean something. And obviously he didn't really have them. So that's why he was getting knocked out.
But when you're older, you're not good enough for you when you're older. We're talking about when someone's at their best, and how long did he stay at the top level? 154. He beat Tony Hopkins at 160 on 168. Dominated everyone. People hardly won a round against him. 175. At 175, people hardly won a round against him. Don't forget.
Yeah. I mean, someone in the comments thinking we're saying Canelo's better than Roy Jones. Well, we never flipping said that.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
No. What I was saying, I think that was to me. What I was saying was, Roy Jones is definitely more talented and more skilled than Canelo. But from a resume standpoint, if Canelo cleans out 175 and wins a belt at cruiserweight, I think he has a better legacy or better resume than Roy. Because if you look at Roy's, even in the 90s when Roy won Fighter of the Decade, like he beat Bernard Hopkins when Bernard Hopkins was just starting out because he went to jail. This was in the early 90s, right? But I'll give him that, right? Because it was for the belt, right? I'll also give him that fight against James Toney because James Toney was the pound for pound #1 fighter at that time in the early 90s. But apart from that, who did he really beat that was an all-time great in the 90s? Apart from those two.
He beat Mike McCullum, Virgil Hill.
But those aren't all-time greats, Mackay.
Mike McCullum is.
Mike McCullum. I didn't say it. That was Ash that said that.
Pardon?
Yeah, but and then in the 2000s, he beat Trinidad. Okay, all right, I'll give him that. But even a Trinidad is not really a 168
The
fighter.
thing is with Roy Jones, like even when he was at super middleweight and middleweight, like no one really wanted to fight him. I mean, Chris Eubank literally admitted that him and Nigel Benn, it was suicide for him to go to America to fight guys like Roy Jones and James Toney. Yeah. Like they were pretty avoided as well. Like, but
I do understand
what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that program. It was when Tony came on on the live with him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I agree. I agree with
Mackay,
I agree with Stephen here. At his prime, no boxer on the planet was even in the stratosphere as Roy Jones. I agree with that. I think Roy Jones was even better than Floyd in their respective primes. But I think from a resume standpoint, like to me, like Roy Jones to me should have given Bernard Hopkins a rematch in the late 90s or early 2000s, and he should have given a rematch to James Toney in the early 2000s when James Toney was in the pound for pound list as well, like just to solidify.
Roy Jones was going to give him a rematch. Roy Jones is 60-40, and Bernard Hopkins didn't want that. 60-40 split, he was saying. Which was fair really, because Roy was undisputed light heavyweight champion. He had already beaten him as well. He was the top of boxing then.
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't. I don't think Bernard Hopkins ducked Roy Jones at that time either. They should have figured it out. Whatever the problem was, they should have figured it out. Because I don't see Hopkins as someone who would duck anyone. Like who did? If you look back in history, Hopkins fought everybody. Yeah, he wasn't the most exciting fighter in the world, but man, he even fought Kelly Pavlik when Kelly Pavlik beat the guy who beat him. Like he fought him immediately. Like remember when Kelly Pavlik fought Jermaine Taylor and Jermaine Taylor beat Hopkins? Hopkins also went up in weight to fight Kelly Pavlik because Kelly Pavlik was the A side. So I don't know, man. But they should have figured that out. He should have fought James Toney as well. Give him a rematch. And to me, if it would have been great if Roy Jones would have been Calzaghe as well. Like to me, that would have really solidified his long-term legacy. But the fact that he didn't, and he almost lost every single round in that fight, except for the round that he knocked down Calzaghe. I mean, and he also all of those brutal knockouts that he had late in his career. Oh my God, like that Glenn Johnson knockout, that Antonio Tarver knockout. I mean, damn, like he went downhill fast.
Yeah, he should never went up to heavyweight. That was his worst mistake that he done.
If he stayed at heavyweight, he was looking very good at heavyweight after he beat John Ruiz, and he would have been able to beat Chris Bird, who was another champion at the time.
Yeah, but
we should put Mike Tyson at heavyweight because Mike was washed up at that time.
At that time, he would have probably beaten Tyson as well at that time.
Didn't Klitschko have one of the belts? I mean, imagine him, like, if he stayed up there, he would have had to have fought him.
But Mackay, if you look at Roy Jones' career, he doesn't have a pay-per-view mega fight. Like he never. I don't think Roy Jones has ever reached 800,000 pay-per-view buys.
No, he did.
At least Hopkins did when he fought De La Hoya, right? Even though it was the B-side.
Yeah, that's De La Hoya.
But if he had fought, like, say, Tyson at heavyweight after he beat Ruiz, that would have done at least 1.3, 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. Like, he should have taken a 50-50 split with Tyson, or go like do 45 because it wouldn't matter. Like at that amount of money, a 45% split versus a 50% split. Well, who cares if the difference is 5 million? If you're getting like 50 million, what's the difference if you're getting 45? It's the same thing. Like,
Well, he was in two minds. He was in two minds. It was a he was a 50-50 whether he was going to fight Tyson or Torva. But the fact is, he chose Torva and to lose that weight, and that's where he went wrong in it.
Well, with Roy Jones, he's like in the big, the interesting fights when he was like way out of his prime. I mean, obviously the Calzaghes and everything. I mean, imagine if Roy was in his prime, if you fought those kind of guys.
Oh, he kind
of wasted his legacy, let's just say, because he kept on fighting when he clearly shouldn't have.
Did you see the way he destroyed Pazienza in last 6 rounds?
Yeah, but Pazienza is not an all-time great.
No, but if that Roy Jones had fought Calzaghe at 168, he would have destroyed him in similar fashion.
I agree 100%. He would destroy Calzaghe in his prime. But I mean, what I'm saying, just going back to that option, so he instead fought Antonio Tarver. It was a pay-per-view fight. I'm telling you, that pay-per-view probably didn't even reach 500,000 buys, right? But had he fought Tyson, it would have done at least 1 million, probably 1.3 million, because at that time Tyson was still a draw, and Roy Jones was the best fighter in the world at that time. So that would have done at least 1 million. So I don't know, and he could have easily beaten Tyson too, because Tyson was washed up at that time. Like he was in that level when he fought Lennox Lewis. Man, Tyson didn't even have any energy at that time. You know what I mean? So he should have fought Tyson, like at least solidify his career, and he may have retired after that because he would have got an enormous amount of money.
Yeah, Tyson was flat-footed then, and Roy would have run circles around him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Tyson was getting like after like one round, he would get tired because Tyson's prime was in the late 80s, and we're talking about early 2000s, like 12, 13 years later. Like, what was the reason why Roy didn't want to fight Tyson at that time anyway?
He was just weighing his options up. It was just like either Tyson or go all the way back to light heavyweight, and he made the wrong choice.
The worst mistake ever, going back down to light heavyweight. That ruined him.
Ahmed, Tyson actually fought Roy like last year. That did 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, right?
Yeah.
When both of them are super washed up. Imagine at that time in the early 2000s where they were a draw, both of them, right?
Yeah.
It would have done more than 1.3 million. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you think about it, if they did 1.3 million last year when they're both like, you know, they're not even in the game anymore. But back in the early 2000s where both of them were a draw, I think it does 1.8, to be honest with you. Like the same as De La Hoya versus Trinidad. I think that did 1.8 million pay-per-view buys. I think it does.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you.
Ahmed, if he beats Tyson, right, at heavyweight, he gets a lot of money. And then he fights Tarver, right, goes down to 175. Because obviously now Roy has beaten Tyson, he'd become even a better star. So the pay-per-view won't be at 500,000 anymore. It'll be more like, 900,000 per se. Beats Tarver, retire. He could be in that level of Sugar Ray Robinson as the best pound for pound fighter ever. Like if he stopped at Tarver, right, beats Tyson, beats Tarver, and retire. You know what I mean?
What he should have. Yeah, I agree with you. What he should have done is beat Tyson or at least call Tarver to heavyweight instead of going down to lightweight. Call Tarver to heavyweight. Cruiserweight or heavyweight, and just run circles around him and fight Tyson and retire after Tyson.
Well, Ahmed, win a belt at cruiserweight first after Tyson, right? Do a cherry pick whoever is the worst cruiserweight at the time, so he has a belt, and then ask Tarver to go up from 175 to 190. That way, you know what I mean? And then call it a day.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I was saying this, but it was very hard for Roy to do stuff like that. That guy just loved fighting. I mean, I mean, he literally fought like not long ago, did he? I mean, even after that, he fought like 2 years before that. Like, I mean, I guarantee you, he's going to be fighting again soon. Like Roy, he just loves to fight. He doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
The guy honestly just doesn't know when to stop fighting.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him, man, because his music business. The reason why he's fighting a lot, like, and he didn't need to, is because he invested a lot in his music business, and it went under, like it went bankrupt. And at that time, he wasn't paying taxes either. So not only that he doesn't have any money left, he owes enormous amount of money to the IRS. So it's like, so he has to fight because he's got no option, like, because he owes so many people so much money.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I mean, yeah, but you were still getting good money, but like, you wasn't getting the money you're getting now. I mean, like, most of the PBC fighters, they get like, they get millions of money just for fighting no one. Yeah, like it's way different now. That's why old fighters come back just to get, just to get a payday. Why not? This is it. This is how it is now. Yeah, but they're still getting paid well.
Hey guys, Stewie Dell says Tyson dug the ribs him and feel sorry for poor Roy. I don't know if Tyson can reach Roy at that time, like, because Tyson's footwork was really slow at that time. Like Roy would have just maybe like kept turning him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Roy was in his prime. Tyson, like, was not. He was very, like, washed up. Even more crazy than he was. Yeah. I could definitely see Roy just winning that.
Yeah. Or or what Roy should have done is, once because he won that first fight against Tarver, right? Because in the last 2 or 3 rounds, he switched it up a notch and got the decision. Why? I don't get why he had to get him a rematch. Like, he didn't need to. Like, because he won the first fight. Like, it wasn't controversial. It was competitive, but it wasn't. It wasn't like. It wasn't like Tarver beat him. Roy beat him. Because it was even maybe in after the 8th round, right? I thought it was even 4-4, right? But then Roy turned it up a notch in the
The fact was, because Roy had never let people even win a round, so winning 3 or 4 rounds for Tarver felt like a win, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that Roy didn't like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Because, man, that knockout that he had in that rematch, man, that was brutal, man. That was like, you can even see his eyes, dude. At least with Pacquiao, you couldn't see his eyes because he was flat. Like when he fought Marquez the 4th time, you couldn't see his eyes. Whereas in that one, man, you could clearly see his eyes, dude. It's like, oh my God, this legend is now, like, this legend that we love is down for the count. And then his next fight, he fights Glenn Johnson and gets knocked out again, similar fashion. It's like, oh no, it's like,
yeah. I mean, people can learn from that mistake of not, messing your body up, and just looking after your body rather than not taking, punishing your body like that, coming all the way back down. It's like, for example, if Canelo came back down to like 154.
yeah, man, poor Roy. Yeah. Anyways. Hey, Makai. You go, Ahmed, you go. Yeah, Barry.
Yeah, because of the Tank beat him. Obviously, because Tank fought him, so like the bookies, they're a bit brainwashed by it, because obviously that Tank's made out to be this, like, this great thing, and obviously because Tank fought him, then he must be great. That's probably what it is.
I reckon Keith Thurman will kill him.
Jesus.
No, not literally. Yeah. Yeah.
He needs.
Yeah.
If you don't stop Barrios, then yeah.
Because
I think everyone's asleep.
Because Makai Ahmed Barrios felt the power of Tank, but Tank is at 130. Even though it was at 140, Tank's power is really a 135er, right? He will now feel the power of 2 weight classes above, which is welterweight. So if he can get knocked out from someone who's really a 135er, imagine Keith Thurman, man, who is powerful himself.
Thurman hits hard for a welterweight. Like he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll kill him. Like not literally, but he'll knock him out.
It's really funny how you're saying it. You actually, it really sounds like you think Thurman's actually going to kill him, like fully kill him. I was just
surprised when Ahmed was saying that the bookies think that like it's close, right? Ahmed, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. God, the boxing world will go crazy if Barrios knocks Thurman out, though.
Hey, Ahmed, what about the Katie Taylor? I know it's just they just announced it like I don't know 5-6 hours ago. But what did the bookies think of the Serrano Taylor fight?
Serrano, it'll probably be Serrano. They'll be in the favorite.
I got Taylor, man. I got Katie Taylor, dude. I think I think she's left a few in the tank for Serrano. Especially at 130. That fight is at 135, right? It's not a catch weight, from my understanding.
Yeah, I think that way. Yeah, I think she's moving up. So
yeah, it's at her home. And also, even though Serrano lives in New York or Brooklyn, wherever she lives, it's actually Katie's hometown because it's at St. Patrick's Day, from my understanding. It's at Madison Square Garden with this enormous amount of Irish population. I'm thinking Katie, man, by decision.
I mean, maybe Kay's got one more fighter left in her, but Serrano, man, she's powerful as well. But
yeah, Makai, she's powerful at 126 and maybe 122. Maybe 130, but not at 135, man. That's a big jump, dude.
Yeah.
And Serrano is not fighting a nobody. She's fighting probably one of the greatest fighters in women's boxing history. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so she's got to like. So it's not something that she's got like. I agree, she's got speed. But if she's carrying another extra 5 pounds, that speed is not as fast as say she was at 126. Because if you're carrying an extra 9 pounds, you're gonna get slower.
Yeah.
Unless she weighs at say 130 and doesn't go like what Pacquiao did. Whenever he fought these guys at 147, he would always weigh at around 144, 143, so that he can maintain his speed. Unless she does that.
I mean, it's just with Taylor, she hasn't looked great at the last 2 fights, really. She hasn't looked like how she used to look.
But Makai, don't you think it's because of her opponent, the quality of her opponent? Because when she fought Delphine Person in the rematch, she looked really good.
I thought I'll probably need to rewatch it again, but watching it live, because I've only seen it once, obviously, it looked like Delphine Persoon won the rematch. It just looked like she won it to me.
Nah, man. I may agree with you that maybe Person won the first fight, but I thought Katie won it. I thought she won the first. I thought she won the early rounds, right? But it was close. But the rematch, I don't think it was closer. I thought Katie won more rounds than say in the first fight. So you know what I mean? I think even Delphine Person said that in the post-fight press conference. She said, "Yeah, Katie won this time." Like she didn't dispute it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she did say. Wasn't that on the undercard of White Povetkin?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, White got knocked out.
Oh man, that was a brutal knockout. That
I
was
know.
so good too. The way he pivoted to the left and then got him
It
with
was
the left.
absolutely insane. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it looks like Fury's gonna be fighting him now, which is good. I really like that fight.
Yeah, I like that fight.
I love the fight.
Because White will bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, Makai, before that fight, like Dylan White was like trash talking for Vetkin, like was saying he was a drug cheat and he was old, blah blah blah, and then he was laughing and shit, and he gets knocked out himself.
Yeah, I know. White really doesn't help himself. I mean, he was laughing at Wilder getting battered, and then he just gets knocked out cold. Like he doesn't help himself. But I hope this fight, it happens because Fury gets past White. Now we won't have to deal with like the whole White propaganda thing again with the WBC. That's over and done with, and then Fury can try and fight Usyk. Oh no, he isn't. He isn't. No. Ahmed. It's just been out. Came out let me read it to you. I think it came out like a couple hours ago. That's an agreement in principle for Dillian White and Anthony Joshua to step aside collapse after parties attempted to negotiate at the 11th hour. Now Tyson Fury will fight White